Well guys, a revenge is out there. Ukraine managed to zero the ex-commander of 155th Marine Brigade of the Russian army, which performed massacres in Bucha, Irpin, and later in eastern side of Ukraine. This war criminal's name was General Mikhail Gudkov, who was, as I say to you, the ex-commander of Marines and currently was the deputy of Russian Navy commander. Reportedly, he was oft in the Kursk region. Ukraine for this mission used HIMARS artillery system. Rocket artillery, it's better to say, and Ukraine needs missiles for those systems. However, United States cancelled the military support of Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say it almost fully, but for sure, the GMLRS missiles, which are used in HIMARS, were canned by Pentagon so far. Well, no matter what, as you may see, Ukraine is very precise with targeting Russian generals. How many Russian generals were KIA since the beginning of the war? I guess more than 10 for sure. Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's go. And you may say, oh Dennis, how do you know that this prick lost his life? Well, let me show you. We are now on Solovyov Telegram channel. Here, what he writes, we have a tragic news. Our deputy of Davy, hero of Russia and the ex-commander of 155th Kursk Marine Brigade, he tragically died in the Kursk region. So we have it from the Russian official propaganda. Confirmation is out here, so yeah, everything has been confirmed even by Russia. More news from the Kursk region. We have the satellite images presented by Kyberboryshna Telegram channel, and they show the result of the Ukrainian strike on munition which was stored out there. And the munition is very close to the apron. I wonder if Russia really used this airfield as an airfield with some of the aircraft there. Actually, I think not, because this place is very close to Ukrainian border. Nevertheless, they stored some of their military equipment, like for example artillery shells or rocket shells. And here's the air defense system, Panzer 1S, so they are protecting there something. One more interesting stuff happened this morning in Luhansk office of some sort of the Fabrika building. There was the small Kabun which took off from this world the ex-mayor of Luhansk, who was pro-Russian and was playing the main political role in so-called Luhansk People's Republic. This is how he looked before the kaboom. After kaboom, sorry guys, I have the image but I cannot show you. What I must show you that, yeah, it's the real image. The General Staff of Ukraine reported about the successful mission in cancelling lots of the Russian munition on territory of occupied Donetsk Oblast. Potentially it might create a supply chaos on the front lines because Russia has their hubs really far away from the front lines, because Ukraine continued to use, as I said to you, HIMARS and FPV drones, also artillery systems. And yeah, something really big kaboom there. There was the secondary detonation recorded, really huge. Right, Donald Trump spoke with Putin again. I will be speaking to President Putin 10 a.m. has already passed, and we have some of the results, if you may call them. Well, obviously they spoke about Ukraine, however, no details about that one. They didn't speak about United States cancellation of the military support of Ukraine, as officials reported, but I think they spoke about that stuff as well. Maybe Donald Trump wanted to cancel the military support once again and check out Putin's reaction if he really wants to cease fire like for at least 30 days, but I think it will not work. Also, I published kind of the big article on my Patreon describing more details of why the military support was cancelled and who is standing behind it. Yeah, some of the Pentagon officials, and it could be done, well, not by mistake, but by recklessness. And now Donald Trump cannot say that it was the wrong decision, because for him, all of the decisions are the best of the best, because he's the best president in the world. For him, yeah, not for us. Well, at least from my level, for now, I have just guesses why it was down so rapidly and why the weapons and munitions which were delivered to Poland are not being supplied to Ukraine any longer. But you know what? Putin's advisor Ushakov, who is very close to Putin and who is the part of negotiation team between Russia and America, USA it's better to say, well, he stated that Putin and Trump agreed to exchange some sort of the films, movies like you watch in cinemas, yeah, so they agreed to exchange films promoting traditional values close to Russian Federation and the United States presidential administration. What can I say, guys? They're allies. Zelensky agreed on any sort of the proposal coming from the White House. He agreed on a ceasefire. He agreed on everything. Putin rejected all of the peace initiatives coming from Donald Trump, but they talk for sixth time already by phone and probably gonna meet, maybe in Turkey, maybe in Saudi Arabia, we'll see. And yeah, they're sharing films promoting conservative or traditional values, which are basically the same for Russia and for modern-day administration of the White House. But you know, guys, that the traditional values in Russia are just fake, because they have one of the biggest divorce rates, crime rates, not even speaking about HIV and other disease. Putin himself is a divorced man who has many of the children from different women. Same as Trump, by the way. Yeah, definitely they may understand each other. The traditional values in Russia is just fake, as many others about Russia itself. Russia is just a poor mafia state. Poor, I mean in general, not the leadership of the country, not the Russian elite. They are quite rich, I would say. And yeah, if you're interested, this guy is responsible for cancellation of the military support of Ukraine. His name is Albridge Colby, yeah, who is Under Secretary of Defense, so I think deputy of Pete Hegseth. By the way, it was the initiative of Pete Hegseth to cancel Ukrainian military support a few months ago. All of those cancellations of the military support mean one thing, that Donald Trump doesn't have any sort of the project or plan of how to finish the war in Ukraine. He would like Ukraine to lose. He would like Russia to rule in Ukraine, to communicate with Putin directly. Zelensky is just an annoying figure for Donald Trump. We all see it, we all understand it. But Donald Trump is powerless in Ukraine. He cannot say to Ukraine, give up and Ukraine will surrender. No. Ukrainians are still defending their lands and their people. Luckily, we also have different support from other allies who will not let Ukraine down, and Trump's administration is a temporary one. So we'll see in the coming maybe even months how political situation might change in USA. Yeah, kind of the bad quality video and audio here. Well, Zelensky mentioned that he is sure that America will continue to support Ukraine. He mentioned that we count on that support, but Donald Trump, he doesn't want to support Ukraine. If it was his will only, he would let Ukraine to Russia. And actually, it's the third time then USA canceled the military support. First one was also because of Donald Trump. Then Joe Biden was the president. You could remember that time, and yeah, it was critical time actually for Ukraine, because of the lack of the military support for long, at least up to 8 months. Ukraine lost Avdiivka village, and which led to significant Russian breakthrough, and now they're very close to Pokrovsk, and yeah, they possess the threat for entire Donetsk region. The second cancellation happened roughly 4 months ago, and the military support later on was restored. But what is happening now, it's hard to explain, guys. We'll see how the things could develop, because tomorrow there's going to be a phone conversation between President Zelensky and Donald freaking Trump. Yeah, I understand that my audience may not like how I use sometimes bad words against Donald Trump. I don't have, guys, sometimes words how to describe him. That's why I use bad words, but it's okay. I hope you understand why. The main reason is that the Ukrainian army has losses because of the lack of the weaponry, and we always fight with this guy, you know, give us weapons, give us weapons. The previously agreed deal by Congress, remember, it was the military support that was voted by Congress, and Donny just cancels that, so America turns to the very bad way, Russian way, I would say. Despite what Congress, Senate, judges say, well, Donny wants to become a dictator, but he will not be capable for this goal. But he will just fail with his mission. Well, nice news from Denmark. Denmark pushes to suspend Hungary's EU voting rights. Well, I'm sure that this initiative will be supported by majority of the European Union countries. So Danish European Affairs Minister Marie Berry says that Copenhagen will ramp up Article 7 proceeding against Budapest. Wow. Well, potentially under Article 7, the country could be dismissed from voting in Council of Europe. So there is the lever of how to push Hungary, but for this, European Union should be united. I think that after all, implementing Article 7 is a very long way. Hopefully they will do it as fast as possible, because Hungary is like another Belarus or one more oblast of Russia on territory of EU. It is interesting that the Chinese Minister of the Foreign Affairs told EU that it cannot, so China cannot afford Russian loss in Ukraine war, sources say. So they're speaking about the possible Russian loss and that China cannot afford it to happen. That is what I'm telling you guys, that this war is kind of profitable for China. Even in this article they say that if the war in Ukraine is over, United States and European Union, basically NATO countries, would focus mainly on China. Now they're busy in Ukraine, so for China it's good to go, especially that they are able to buy very cheap resources from Russia, because Russia lost its main clients in the European Union. And at the same time, the same Chinese officials say that they do not support Russia, but somehow Russia gets lots of the stuff from China, including sophisticated components, electronics for drone production and for military use. And here I want to shout out to my Patreon supporters and members of the channel. Guys, you are doing a fantastic job to support me during the hard times, especially right now, then YouTube monetization just sucks for me. Well, in any case, you support me, you're driving me. I film videos almost every day on this channel. So guys, if you want to support my job, I'll put the link for my Patreon right in the video description below. Thank you so much for your kindness. If you don't have this opportunity, just press your huge like to this video and subscribe for the channel to move this video, to propel it to everyone on YouTube. You help a lot with this stuff. Thank you so much for it as well. Oh, what is this? A big beautiful bill was taken. Kind of the narrow vote here in the House. 217 against 214. Even 2 Republicans voted against the bill. Wow. As experts say, the big beautiful bill might harm the American economy. It is almost 100%, and there are MAGA people like Elon Musk who say no to BBB. Openly on his media, he used his levers, but he was not successful, as we may see, in blocking the bill. So it means more loans, more spendings for USA. Well, that is not necessarily very terrible or tremendously bad, but for this, dollar should keep its value. It should continue to be the main exchange currency, and the United States should have the worldwide good reputation actually and influence. With Donald Trump, we see how United States is losing it. That's why, guys, I expect the devaluation of the American currency. It will go down. Not as a ruble maybe, but it will go down. It's already down, by the way, the United States dollar falling by record levels in 2025. For the first 6 months relative to pound, euro and yen, dollar fell by 10.8%. This is huge, guys, and I see how euro actually rises up, Swiss franc, pound, because everyone wants to invest in the stable currency and into the economies of the stable countries. So despite Russian threat, investors are coming more to Europe, not to United States of America. Investors, everything is about investing, and Donald Trump created the huge chaos out there in USA. He's unpredicted, uncontrollable. One day he bombs Iran, the other day he says Israel stop bomb Iran. Today he blocks the military support of Ukraine. Tomorrow he might cancel his restrictions. So no one knows what to expect from Donald, and that's why Zelensky is not panicking. He's just was on a conference saying, okay, we hope and we're sure that the United States must support Ukraine against the war with Russia. First of all, there was the Budapest Memorandum, which was absolutely nothing, as we see. So, yeah, United States, at least with some of the weaponry, should support Ukraine. Again, they cancelled artillery rounds and HIMARS shells. Why would America need the HIMARS shells right now, or artillery? They don't have any sort of the confrontation on the ground, and it is not planning. Like, this decision to deploy forces with artillery and HIMARS somewhere is not popular at all in USA. Maybe Donald Trump plans something, but I think not. So it was the pure political decision to cancel the military support for Ukraine once again. They were searching for some of the excuses and just said, oh, we need this weaponry ourselves, which has nothing in common with reality. The good thing that Ukraine may obtain those 8,000 artillery shells which were blocked from other countries, it's not a huge number. The HIMARS munition, well, Europe could have those for their own systems, but the problem goes with Patriot missiles, PAC-3 missiles capable to shut down ballistic missiles which Russia sends to Ukraine almost every night. Yeah, they could be ambushed one day, so it's better to protect at least Patriots for now, while we're waiting for new military packages coming from USA. I hope they will come. And the military support which was agreed before with Congress, with House, with previous White House administration, so I hope at least that one will go to Ukraine. And this is the capital city of Ukraine. This night is really terrible. Russia sent lots of the drones, so we have those kind of the images. It's not necessarily a single drone, there could be a couple of drones, 3 drones, 4 drones, so totally more than 100 drones are going to hit Kiev. And as you may see, some of the drones hit the ground. From what I understood, Russia targets Zhilani airfield. This is the commercial airfield, but Ukraine stored Patriot systems there for some time, but later on moved them out. At least I hope that it was done, because Google released satellite images with Patriots, Ukrainian Patriots, located in Zhilani airfield, so hopefully Ukrainian command moved them out from the place later on. If not, well, those are the main targets for Russia. So by the time Ukrainian air defense struggles and Ukraine asks for more support relative to defense, not even offense, United States cancelled the military support. Wow. But again, will it change the situation on the front lines? Maybe, but not severely. Like, Ukraine may lose more territories, that's it. I'm sure that even without the military support from USA, Russia will not be able to break through Ukrainian defense and go straight to Dnipro city or to Kiev whatsoever. The cancellation of the military support means more losses among Ukrainian civilians. That's the main worst outcome of bloody Donny decisions. Yeah, because of Donny there will be more Ukrainian life losses. That's why I hate that guy. Well, our friends from Germany, they want to reinsure the military support of Ukraine with American weapons. Well, the Bild source, Bild is not the reliable one, but nevertheless they write that there could be a conversation in the nearby future between Merz and Trump, and they can make a deal about selling some of the American weapons to support Ukraine. First of all, Patriot missiles, and they're very expensive, like each missile costs between $1 and $3 million, depends on modification. So hopefully at least that is how Ukraine will be able to defend its skies. By the way, guys, Germany and Ukraine already started on production of the long-range weapons of Ukraine. Probably we're speaking about Grom-2 Sapsan system, which fires ballistic missiles, or maybe there will be the improvement of Neptune 2 missiles. We'll see. Germany keeps the most part of the military support classified, so it's hard to judge now. It was a proper decision, actually, to classify all the support to Ukraine. All of the drones are flying to Kiev, my friends, you may see on this image. I have it from different channels, mostly Telegram channels, also available on X platform, Twitter. It will be a very hard night, and I am sure that the main aim for Russia is to cancel Ukrainian Patriot systems. Some people went to the underground stations, and usually in Kiev underground stations are quite deep. The station name Arsenal is one of the deepest out there. Yeah, it could be a good hideout. Yeah, the audio is very bad here, a little noisy near the airplane, so Trump here said that they'll cooperate with Ukraine in military, they'll continue the military support, but now they have to revise what United States needs nowadays to continue the military support. Well, in this case, I hope that they'll renew support as soon as possible.
We had a call, it was a pretty long call. We talked about a lot of things, including Iran. And we also talked about, as you know, the war with Ukraine. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy. No, I didn't make any progress with him today at all.
Mr. President, how much...
So Trump say that he didn't make any progress with Vladimir Putin at all today. So what was the point of the call? And also, by the way, Putin had the conversation with President Macron yesterday. It wasn't even some sort of the breaking news or the news for me to speak about, but here I tell you that it's basically useless to speak with Putin. Yeah, after all, he looks kind of disappointed, so there's the chance for him to renew the military support for Ukraine. Yeah, Chancellor Merz was right. He said that he will not speak with Putin because it's useless. After every sort of the conversation, Russian dictator launches one more bloody attack, as it happened this evening after the phone call between Trump and Putin. But tomorrow Trump may say that it was one more Putin's mistake, something like that. Yeah, today it was the funeral of Maxim Ustimenko, pilot of Ukrainian Air Force who died tragically while piloting his F-16, protecting the skies over Ukraine. Sadly, but Ukraine has many of the losses. It is bad, and at the same time, Russia losing their worst people, Ukraine is losing their best. I just hope that this war comes to an end as soon as possible. So the first one with the stick, this one also with the stick, crutch, yeah, in English. And this one, the guy who was commenting said that they are going to storm enemy positions. Storm like that. And here they explain that they have the only way to go and storm because the other ways are not so good for them. They could be zeroed by their own officers. There are special brigades in Russia which are used to off the Russian deserters, and here the local commander of the battalion told them to go, otherwise they will be zeroed as well. Well, anyways, they will be zeroed because this attack, I'm sure, was the last one, because they cannot perform well on front lines. Russians again, some of them are going on their first attacks. They signed some contracts with the Russian army, especially this one, yeah? And this is their commander. He said that they should listen to their elderly comrades who already performed many of the attacks. Well, as usual, guys, it's the rule. I mean, it's not just for Russia, but also for Ukraine. The newcomers are sent to the most difficult direction. Because commanders, they try to save those people who already have the experience and who know how to fight, capable people. Well, from the commander's perspective, if you lose the people without experience, it's not that huge loss compared to the people with experience and who know how to fight. Yeah, it seems like I tell the same stuff once again. Well, I guess you get it. Well, the combination also could be like experienced soldiers, newcomers, but anyways, the commander's interest is to secure and save the most capable soldiers of his battalion, because they'll help him first of all not to lose his positions. And news from Russia. Russia becomes the first state in the world to recognize Taliban as the ruling government of Afghanistan. There were numbers of the visits of Afghanistan Taliban delegation to Russia, many of the times. Russia also put their flags out there. And now, yeah, this is official Afghanistan flag. It seems like Taliban one. A terrorist state recognizes the other one. Maybe that is how it works. Right, guys, now let's go to the front lines updates. And fortunately, Russia is taking more ground. Oh, this is the new direction. In the Kharkiv region, Russia started one more attack. I didn't hear about it, and it is happening already. Milove village was taken by Russians. Probably we even have the confirmation. I need to search from the Telegram channels to show you the real video. Plus, as you may see, Russians move over here towards Troivka village. So it's a new direction, guys, a new one. Probably Ukraine didn't wait for this attack. It came from the Russian territory. I think that the main aim here is to expand this bridgehead from Russia and go to Veliki Burlik. But as you see, there are no big roads, the terrain is very difficult, number of the rivers and the lakes and swamps and hills. It's gonna be a very hard time for Russia to go to Veliki Burlik. Also, there is zero perspective for them to go to Kharkiv because there is the river here, Donets River. It's very wide over here. Maybe it's just to deflect the attention of the Ukrainian armed forces and at the same time advance to Kupiansk, and in Kupiansk direction. Yeah, there was actually the advancement of Russia over here behind Sinkivka. They were not able to get Sinkivka occupied, but a couple of days ago you see that they moved here. So yeah, it's the backup operation, I think, and they want to concentrate their forces mainly on Kupiansk now. Well, as you may see, Russia tries to attack in different directions and they hesitate still to concentrate all of their forces to a single one where they could be successful. Instead, they disperse their own forces, making the situation with supplies very, very terrible. That's why we see those pulse attacks. So at first they gain the ground, after it there is a very long break because they struggle with logistic lines to keep the pace, but next they try again and again, and somehow they take the ground. So is there update here? Yeah, the short update in Pidubne village, so it turned to red here. This situation here I would say is not good. Let me show you the river. It goes over here, so I thought that Russia will be kept in these boundaries, but they managed to cross the river over here. It's impossible for them to use the engineering equipment, so I think that infantry crossed the river on their own feet, or they swim somehow through the river, and they want to go here. And here maybe there are no any villages nearby, just this, this and this. So a very flat terrain, easy for them to occupy. So the next obstacle, I mean natural obstacle, is another river and high terrain all across this side. So there is the level of the hills. About Pokrovsk, no any changes about that one. I expected them to occupy Pokrovsk in December the last year, and still they didn't do it. In Torets, they moved from Dachne, yeah, over here. So yesterday, today, the gray area expansion all across those lakes. But still Toretsk is not fully occupied. And yeah, I have the confirmation that Russians are out there on the roof of one of the buildings in Milova village, Kharkiv Oblast. The Milova village is located right at the border. Well guys, in any case, the Ukrainian defense is holding. Russia tries to attack Ukrainian positions, sometimes they take the ground, but it's not that huge. Ukraine is the big country, and little by little Ukraine exchanges its own ground, fields and ruined villages and towns for absolutely crazy Russian losses, and Russia would need several more of their armies, like millions of people more, to occupy all of the Ukraine, and with the pace they attack, they need dozens of years for it, which makes this special military operation of Russia absolutely useless. But Putin wants to continue. He wants to ruin Russia itself, because this war, it will create a huge crisis within Russia itself. I'm 100% sure about it. Now my friends, please don't forget to press your like to this video and also subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you really help me a lot to propel this video in algorithms. And as usual, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.